We fought in the Spanish-American War. We fought in the War of 1812. We fought in the Civil War on the side of the North and the South. We died right alongside of those fighting to maintain slavery. Our fathers' sweat, blood, and tears built this country. Our fathers and our mothers worked from can't see morning to can't see night with no pay to build the economy of the South, to fuel the economy and the industrial revolution of the North. We fought in all America's wars for a freedom that we have never achieved. We fought in the Revolutionary War that made America independent of England. But we don't have any independence ourselves. Some of the older ones here that were in World War I, you know you fought Germany, but the German prisoners of war were treated better than the black soldiers who fought for America against Germany. Talk to me. Hitler rose again. World War II. Black men died at Pearl Harbor. Black men died in Guadalcanal, in the Solomon Islands, in the Philippines, at Iwo Jima. Black men died in North Africa fighting the Germans. Black men died at Anzio Beach, at Palermo, at Naples, to free Rome, to free Paris, to free Europe. Damn it! We died to build America. And America has rebuilt Germany and Japan. And the nigger is still suffering and dying in the streets of America.
There are voices that shake the very foundations of power. Voices that call out truth even when it terrifies those who hold it. But why is one man feared so much? What makes his words a threat to the establishment? Before we continue, hit that like button. Share this video with others who need to hear this truth. Every like, every share helps amplify the message that they've tried so hard to silence. Today, we dive deep into the legacy of Minister Louis Farrakhan, a man who has challenged the most powerful governments, stood up to systems of oppression, and ignited the hearts of millions. But with this courage comes fear, and today we ask, why is he feared so much? The US government, mainstream media, and even foreign powers have worked tirelessly to discredit him, to silence his voice. But why? What is it about Farrakhan's message that sends shockwaves through the corridors of power? Let's watch this video clip to understand the depth of his words.
Why? I would just like to say that I am terrified that even you, someone who's obviously educated, has given up hope completely. Like when you call upon us, you say white folk, you say black people, Jewish people. Why can't we come together? We obviously can come together. We just have to. We just have to find a way to do it.
The desire is good, but the reality is the total opposite of your desire. And unfortunately, as a young lady, you are not in the position of power to make the decisions to make America work. May I, you know, as an audience of intelligent people, I would like to just take a moment to say to you that I really don't think you fully understand what has happened to these people that you look at as second class or inferior citizens in this nation. Black people who were brought to this country were stripped of their names, language, culture, religion, God, and taken totally away from the history of themselves. Here are 30 million people who don't wear their own names, they wear your names. Who don't speak their own language, they speak English, which is not their language. They never were allowed their own cultural expression of Africa. Don't you realize that when you turn a people upside down and inside out, then sell them not for a day, not for a year, but for 300 years, and deny us the human right to know, to read a book, to learn, to understand, and then after 300 years of that, you allow us into the church, but by that time, you've painted Jesus white, God white, the angels white, and then all these black people have been subjected to a form of white supremacy, which produces in the reverse a black inferiority. And this is fulfilling what Jesus said, as a man thinketh, so is he. And as long as our people think the way they think, we will never be able to do what we as a people should do to correct our condition.
Over here, please.
He speaks to the heart of the oppressed. He speaks of unity, of rising up, and of justice. But with these words comes a threat to those who have long ruled over the downtrodden. Governments fear what they cannot control, and Louis Farrakhan is uncontrollable. He does not bow to their agendas. His influence is not bought by their money. Now, here's another powerful moment where Farrakhan calls out the fear that the system has of black unity and retaliation. Watch this.
What I'd like to say, there was somebody over there in the audience who said that they were afraid, they were scared when they were talking about what he was saying, you see. And what I'm saying is, the other day, you asked Mandela that same question about fearing, white people fearing, you know, what will the black folks do and stuff. We should be running down the street screaming, ramping, and raving, because when you look at the statistics, who is the one dying? From the policemen, from the KKK, from the skinheads, from the black people.
We're getting be scared. It should be the people.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It should be us who should be scared, or y'all sitting here.
The young lady said she's afraid of violence. And isn't it sad that we who have been the victims of so much violence, now whites fear violence from us? We do not have a history of killing white people. White people have a history of killing us. See? And what you fear, may I say this, sir? What you fear, and it's a deep guilt thing, that white folks suffer. You are afraid that if we ever come to power, we will do to you and your fathers what you and your people have done to us. And I think you are judging us by the state of your own mind, and that is not necessarily the mind of black people.
Getting back to what she said, what exactly do we have a problem with? Before you made a statement, you said that I think that, well, not I, you said that white people think that you're inferior to us. I don't believe that. I'm part of the youth of America. I am not prejudiced. I feel more prejudiced right now than I've ever felt. Not against black, I am not prejudiced against black people. Some of my best friends are black people. I am, what's the problem with that?
Yeah.
You let him speak, let me speak.
Yeah. You wanted to speak to this young woman?
No, I didn't want to speak.
Who wants to talk to her? Yes.
No,
yes?
What do you mean you feel more prejudice right now?
Because the way he's saying
Because what?
what he's saying right now, I mean, I feel that you are prejudiced towards white people.
But excuse excuse me. I think it's like he said, it might be a fear or misunderstanding that you have, because what fear has he put, or what has he actually said here today that makes you feel prejudiced?
I think that he said that we think that they're inferior. I think it's partly part of your own complex that you have to get over, because I don't feel you're inferior. I have nothing against black people.
Let me answer her. This is the, excuse me, this is the situation. Every young white adult says, I have not done this to black people. I have not done that to black people. But your forefathers are the ones who have set us in the situation we are in. Now, what I'm saying is this. When Nat Turner stood up, you all rejected him. You killed him. When Marcus Garvey stood up, you all rejected him, enslaved him. He died a broken heart. Now, what I'm saying is this. Your fathers have put us in the condition we are in, and today you are profiting from what your forefathers have done. Now, my grandchildren are going to be raised, and your children are going to say to them, they have not done to them, because you are the ones who are going to do to my grandchildren what they're going to experience if the situation continues. Now, what I'm saying is this. When we talk about America falling, what we are saying is this. If you all want to control America, then we must have a land base that we control. You all cannot continue printing the dollar bill and then expect us to abide by your rules when you do not want to give us jobs. Therefore, I'm saying that we have now got to come into negotiations, and Minister Farrakhan is the man to listen to.
It becomes apparent more and more as we listen to each other and try to talk to each other that we don't perceive reality the same. And as we're talking about either reconciling differences or separating, it becomes clear that if two people are looking at the same thing and perceiving it so differently, then the two people are operating under a different stimulus. And so when the young lady says, I am prejudiced, to be prejudiced means to judge before the fact. After 400 years of living and experiencing, we're not prejudiced. We are looking at the reality of what we have suffered and continue to suffer. According to the State of Black America by the Urban League, if we started right now, they said, we could never close the gap to black poverty and white poverty. She said, let us start right now. Let's forget the past. Notice this. When Jewish people remember the Holocaust and want the world to remember the Holocaust. Wait. Why do you want the world to remember? Because if the world does not remember, it is likely to repeat itself. And Jewish persons who suffered from the Holocaust want the world to remember this because the world turned its back while Jews were put in ovens. I, as a black person, want my people to remember what we have suffered and what we continue to suffer, so that we will say like the Jews, never again. Never again.
Okay, I've been listening in this corner right here, and I've heard a whole lot of negative things from the white people here. When you are trying to explain yourself, the white people don't want to hear you explain yourself. They drown you out. They start already trying to drown you out and talk over you. There's a certain amount of white arrogance here, and they don't want to listen to what black people are saying. They don't understand because they don't want to understand. I've heard a woman here say, go back to Africa. Somebody said, we have a black holiday. What does that mean? So what does that mean? He did not say that. He said, if we have a choice, what some of us can go and some of us can stay. But there's no understanding in here. People are just trying to talk.
To those arrogant persons, you know, when you tell us go back, please remember where you came from. And when you want to relegate somebody to a specific place, just remember what your origin is in this world. Please, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I want you to understand that You, wherever you are on the earth, you're not a native anywhere. You came there and took it from the native people who are there. So please don't talk about going back, because if others talk to you about that, where would you go?
The fear doesn't just come from his words, it comes from what he represents. A movement, the Nation of Islam, the empowerment of black people, and the refusal to remain silent in the face of historical injustices. His words cut deep because they're backed by a movement of millions. And it's not just his words that instill fear. It's the influence he wields. The government has long watched him, tracked his movements, and even sought ways to neutralize his impact. Let's take a closer look at why they see him as such a threat.
These black men are not here tonight to be played with. They are here tonight because they want a change in their life and they want a change in their community. The white man took away from you power. Now you're trying to get it back, but you don't know how. So they sell you a gun. You didn't go to the gun store and get it, because they wouldn't sell it to you at the gun store. But you got it on the market, the white market. And they sold you a weapon. And they knew you were not going to be involved in a drive-by shooting in the white neighborhood. You were not going to do carjacking in the white neighborhood. They know that the more guns they put in your hand, you would begin to terrorize your own neighborhood. So it's guns and drugs and jobless men. Guns and drugs and pain-filled men. Guns and drugs and bitter, frustrated men. Guns and drugs and men with no creative mind. Guns and drugs and a man that is not really a man of his own destiny. Our fathers, sweat, blood, and tears built this country. Our fathers and our mothers worked from can't see morning to can't see night with no pay to build the economy of the South, to fuel the economy and the industrial revolution of the North. Mother, wife, sister, auntie, baby. We fought in all America's wars for a freedom that we have never achieved. We fought in the Revolutionary War that made America independent of England. But we don't have any independence ourselves. We are dependent on white people to do for us what we have earned the right to do for ourselves. We fought in the Spanish-American War. We fought in the War of 1812. We fought in the Civil War on the side of the North and the South. We died right alongside of those fighting to maintain slavery. And those who said they were trying to maintain the Union, but in any case, after the Union was maintained, it was back to business as usual. We had congressmen and senators, and we had government representation. But the Night Riders and the KKK took it all away from us. Said, we don't want no niggers in the Congress. We don't want no niggers in high political office. So they killed us. They hung us. They burned us. And when they got in trouble, they called us again to fight in a Jim Crow army. Some of the older ones here that were in World War I, you know you fought Germany. But the German prisoners of war were treated better than the black soldiers who fought for America against Germany. Talk to me. Hitler rose again. World War II. Black men died at Pearl Harbor. Black men died in Guadalcanal, in the Solomon Islands, in the Philippines, at Iwo Jima. Black men died in North Africa fighting the Germans. Black men died at Anzio Beach, at Palermo, at Naples, to free Rome, to free Paris, to free Europe. Damn it! We died to build America. And America has rebuilt Germany and Japan. And the nigger is still suffering and dying in the streets of America.
The fear of Farrakhan is rooted in the fear of change, real, transformative change. He is unyielding in his mission to bring justice for black people, and that strikes fear into a system built on centuries of inequality. But his fearlessness has come at a price. The media, the government, and even some within the community have tried to paint him as the enemy. But the question remains, are they really afraid of him? Or are they afraid of the truth he speaks? It's time to ask yourself, why do they want his voice silenced so badly? Why do they fear his influence so deeply? Perhaps it's because Farrakhan speaks a truth that challenges the very systems that have kept people oppressed for so long. If this video opened your eyes, share it. Let others see the power of a voice that refuses to be silenced. Don't forget to like this video and hit that subscribe button to stay connected to more stories that challenge the system. We've only just begun.